Cool, cheers, thanks. Hello, really nice to see you. My name's Mark. I'm very aware I'm not a marketer. Some people are kind of drifting back and forth, that's fine. If you're standing around on the edge, I'm not gonna bite. You're very welcome to come and have a seat. We're pretty much done for this session. I'm gonna talk to you guys for about 35 minutes, and then I believe these stands are gonna be serving drinks, so we're all on a winner. My name's Mark. I have a weird job. I'm a poet and a battle rapper and an educator. I didn't always used to do this. And I just thought I'd tell you a bit about kind of the weird stuff, a weird thing that happened to me that totally changed my life and set me on this whole weird path. Basically, I'm really pleased to be here for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that I live in Peterborough. I get out for a day. I don't know if anyone here has been to Peterborough at all. It's like a couple of people nodding. Yeah, I think they kind of like resigned. Yeah, that's pretty fair. I think most people go to Peterborough so they can change trains and go somewhere else. Some people go to Peterborough to get a passport in a hurry. We've got a massive passport office. And I think some people go to Peterborough just so they can die a little bit inside. I think that was me. When I first moved there about 8 years ago to start my first ever job as a secondary school English teacher. And I arrived with all my bags to start that job, really kind of like really wanted to do a good job of it, and walked out the train station, and the very first thing I saw in Peterborough was three boys, about 13 years old, who were standing outside, and they were kicking around between them a cardboard box that was on fire. And I remember watching it thinking, it's not like Bath. I don't know if I like it. I'm not sure what I think about this. And now I love it. I love living in Peterborough. I think it's a very honest place. And those three boys were in my first ever English class the following day when I started teaching. And I got to know them really well. And one of those boys, Jordan, what he did totally changed my life. And it's got me doing stuff like this now. Basically, Jordan, he would get in trouble a lot. I was a head of year as well when I was working in schools. So if you're a head of year, you spend about 95% of your time with about 5% of the year group. Most students are fine, but the same 5% go through, always getting in trouble. And Jordan's one of those boys. As well as setting fire to boxes and kicking them around, his attendance was terrible. He never did any homework. He got in fights. He'd been excluded before coming to us as well. And one day, Jordan did something really bad that changed everything. He came into a maths lesson, and in his rucksack, he'd packed an air rifle that day. And he took the air rifle out in the middle of the maths lesson, and he shot another boy in the back of the head with it. When I say an air rifle, I don't mean like a two-armed thing that you'd cock like that, right? It's a pistol. It fires these little metal BB gun pellets. Didn't do any serious damage. Like, it hit the boy. He was about kind of like 3 meters away from him. Hit him in the back of the head. He swore. They stood up. They had a massive fight. It got broken up. Jordan was taken to the headmaster's office. And I have no idea about this, right? But I'm in my classroom and I'm kind of teaching, just everything's fine. And then I get an email from the heads, like an urgent email, which in my school means it interrupts your lesson. It comes up with big red letters. And up on the screen in the middle of the lesson, it goes, "Need to see you immediately at break time, Mr. Grist," from the head teacher. And all of my students in the classroom start going, "Ooh, like you're in trouble, sir, you're in trouble." And I'm like, "No, it's fine." He wants to talk, it's fine. But in my head, I'm kind of like, I might be in trouble. I don't know. My classroom's messy. What could it be? So I ran down to his office in a bit of a panic at break time. I'd only been teaching for a year, and I thought, God, what have I done? And I ran in going kind of like, "I'm really sorry. Is everything all right?" And as I ran in, the headmaster sat like staring at me at a desk with a gun on it, right? And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. And he said, "Look, no, Jordan brought this in today, and he thought it would be a good idea to shoot another student in the back of the head with it in a maths lesson." And so I said, "Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds really bad. Like, I don't know, I've not been teaching very long, but that sounds really bad. How?" And he said, "Yeah, I think it's the most serious thing we've dealt with in the school." And I said, "Okay, well, what do we do?" And he said, "Well, there were three things we're going to do, right? The first thing, the police are coming down with all their gear. Although it doesn't do any serious damage, it looks like a proper Glock, right? So they're going to dispose of it properly. The second thing, we're sending a letter out to all the parents of the students who are in the classroom to make it clear we're taking it seriously. So no parent, mainly to be honest, so no parent will go and speak to the local press. Because if someone told anyone in the local press and it made it in there, a slow news day, it could spiral out. It could be really bad, right? So that's the second thing. And the third thing is we are going to be calling in Jordan's mum, and permanently excluding Jordan from the school. And so I started trying to like argue with him, or try and persuade him, can we not exclude Jordan? I don't really want to lose him. He'd been excluded twice before our school. Like, honestly, the reasons he got excluded, the very first school, he got excluded for fighting. It was a huge academy, and within a week of it opening, there was a massive gang fight. We have a lot of gangs in Peterborough, and it turned out that when they boiled it down and they worked out who sort of set it up, Jordan was one of the main students back when he was in year 7, winding people up. He went to another academy then. He lasted 1 week. He sent an email to the CEO of the academy, and all it said in the email was "You're well gay," in it. That's the entire email that he sent. And so when we received him, we got a massive folder and just a thread of communication with the CEO saying, "Can someone deal with it?" Never even spoke to him, actually. I always thought, might be a chance to have a chat with him about it. And I'm worried at this point, because if you get excluded from 3 schools, the majority of chances you're going to go to prison. And so I'm start going, can we save? Is there anything we can do? Is there anything? And everything I say, the headmaster goes, "He shot someone with a gun." He's like, "I don't mind his attendance, but he shot someone with a gun. Can't happen." And in the end, he goes, "Look, the only way he can stay is he has to be supervised at all times by a member of staff. Every break time and lunchtime, we'd have to be with a teacher." And I go, "Well, can we do that?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, you can do it, right? You're his head of year. If you really want him at the school, you can spend that time with him." So I go, "Okay." And I want to make it really clear. That might sound like I'm like, "Wow, what a nice guy." Yeah, I do really care about him, but also I'm a young head of year. Older teachers don't want to do what I say, and if I go to the staff room, I find that teachers just give me loads of jobs. You know, someone's stolen a paint pot, or a whole class needs talking to, or whatever. If I'm with Jordan, he's not allowed in the staff room, right? So I'm like, fine, it'll be all right. We'll just go and do that. So I'm fine. I go and see Jordan, and I tell him, and Jordan is gutted. He's like, "No offense." He goes, "No offense, sir. Could I not be excluded instead? I can't be seen hanging out with you. You're like the least cool teacher in the school. You write all these poems and stuff like that. That's what I do. I did all this. I wrote poetry. It's what I've loved doing." And I go, "Well, no, Jordan, you've got to hang out with me. This is what's happening." And he's like, "We're not doing poetry. We're not doing poetry in your classroom, sir." And I go, "No, it's fine. We've got some board games we can play and stuff like that." And he gets like, "We're not playing Monopoly, sir. I'm not doing that. It's not happening." So in the end, I go, "Well, what do you want to do? Because this is happening, right? This is what we've got to do." And he thinks for a bit, and then he goes, "Can we do hip hop, sir?" And I go, "Yeah, all right, fine." And he lights up like I've never seen him light up before, right? Like anytime I've tried to get him to do what I want to do, it's not worked. But he lights up and he starts going, "Can my mates come in? Can we do freestyle ciphers? Can we do rap battles, sir? That would be sick." And I'm like, "Well, all right." I don't really know what those things are, to be honest, but fine. So every break time and lunchtime, Jordan and his mates come bouldering into my classroom, right? They're pumped. And they spend all of their time watching these MCs on these boards, rapping and doing stuff like 50 Cent, Eminem, stuff like that, right? And they copy down their lyrics constantly, and then they get a beat, and then they try and write their own lyrics. And I'm watching it, to be honest, going, it's not that different to poetry. It's not really that different to what I do. But also, he loves it. He's a prisoner, but he doesn't act like it. He starts becoming this kind of ambassador for this whole empire that he's built. He takes the register for people coming in or out of the club. He chooses which MCs they're going to watch. I have to have a word with him because he's too intense with the other students, getting really angry if they copy down the lyrics wrong. And we get through some big times, right? It turns out a lot of the boys who come into my hip hop club are also the boys who are kicking off at break times and lunchtimes. So the rest of the school is like this Zen garden of tranquility, right? It's like wicked. And for the first time, the older teachers are like, maybe this head of year isn't that bad. Maybe he's onto something. So it's great, right? And then we have a massive problem. It's been running for about 6 weeks. And then one night, on a Sunday night, Jordan and 2 other members of the hip hop club, they went out in the middle of the night, and we have a huge supermarket by the school. They graffitied it, the whole wall outside, in massive letters with their own names, right? Their first names and their surnames as well. It's the shortest investigation we've ever had into anything in the school. I drove up in the morning to park in the car park, see it, and I'm just there. If you've seen The Simpsons, right, and it's Skinner in this, I'm just there going no, what? And I'm very aware that graffiti is one of the core components of hip hop culture, and that's my club as well. And I'm just this is so bad. And I go into the front desk, and the headmaster's waiting for me at the front desk, and he looks at me and he goes like, we need to have a chat, yeah? And I go, yeah, okay. So we go into his office, and I know it's bad, right? Because the first thing he says is, look, I like Jordan, right? And I'm like, okay. And he goes, but you have to have standards. Where we are, if we don't have standards, this school will be burnt down, right? We already allowed, like, let him get away with that gun that he brought in, right? Since then, I feel like there's been a deterioration of standards, like behavior-wise in the school. I'm going to set an example this time. I am permanently excluding Jordan and the two other boys who did the graffiti. And I try a little bit to like argue with him, but he's the head, right? And I'm like first year like into this, so I'm like, yeah, I understand. And so I leave the office, and I'm gutted. I'm so gutted they're being kicked out, and so angry with them as well, because it's so stupid. And then I see them in the corridor, right? And they're outside his office, and they're all like strutting like this. They think they're like really cool because everyone's talking about the graffiti. And so I kick off at them. I'm just like, you did what? It's like, your stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Your own names, boys. You are being permanently kicked out of your school. Again, Jordan, right, for all this. And as I'm doing it, like, I explain to them as well. I'm like, they only have one chance of staying now. And it's a slim one at that. Academies, you don't have to have appeal processes. But my school was never an academy. And the head always wanted you to be able to, like, he was pretty cool. He wanted to like lose these decisions. That's what he said. He didn't want to have like complete authority. He said if you beat him in a decision, he saw that as a good thing. So we get 4 weeks. It takes 4 weeks to file a pupil at risk of exclusion like folder, like set up. And in that process, they stay in school and they have an appeal towards the end of the process. And I can come in as like their lawyer with their parents, and the governors are there and the head is there, and I try and argue that they've turned it around, right? And that's my only chance. And I go like, so basically, for the next 4 weeks, you have to be perfect, right? And that's the only way we can keep you. And they start going like, oh, sir, it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, why is it always us? And I'm like, well, because you graffitied a massive wall, because you shot someone with a firearm, Jordan. And he went like, oh, yeah, that was quite bad. And I'm like, well, I'm glad we've acknowledged that. But then they start going like, but it's hard, sir. Like, it's hard. You don't understand. It's really hard. I'm like, it's not hard. Just don't shoot anyone. Don't graffiti anything. Don't chuck a yogurt on anyone. They did a lot of that as well. Like, and all this. And they start going, yeah, but sir, it is hard, right? It's hard to be bad if you're bad, sir. You don't understand. You're good. You're not bad like us, sir. If you're bad, it's hard to be good, right? We've always been bad. We're nothing but bad. You don't understand. And when they say that, like, I feel bad, right? I understand what they're saying. It's hard to change something. But I'm like, guys, it is your behavior, right? Like, that's the thing that needs to change. I would do anything to keep you here. Like, but it's not about me, it's about your behavior. And when I do that, they start nudging each other and like whispering. And I'm like, what? What now? What now? And then they go, would you really do anything, sir? And I go, within reason, like, obviously. And then Jordan just blurts out, would you enter a rap battle, sir? Like that. And then they're all pumped, and they're all talking at once, and I don't know what's going on, and I sit them down, and we have to like count to 5, because we do that a bit with like some of our students, and we work through it, and then they explain, right? The reason they got pumped, they graffitied this wall. Like, I live in Peterborough. It's a cultural cold spot, according to the Arts Council. It's such a rude thing to say about a place. But it basically means nothing happens. To the point you might as well go and set fire to a box, right? And kick it around outside the train station. Nothing happens. The one thing that happens in our city every year is we have the East of England King of the Mic rap battle tournament. Takes place in this nightclub called Dissident. It doesn't exist anymore. It was a drug den. It's really bad, right? But this nightclub had this massive tournament, and they were pumped, right? They thought, we're going to sign up for it this year. We're going to do this whole rap battle thing. And they went out, they graffitied the wall, they came home, and then they realized, you got to be 18 to be in this whole thing. And they're going, sir, yeah, we can't do it. We wanted to do it. We realized we can't. And I'm like, well, no, you're like 14 years old. Big shock you can't enter a rap battle tournament in a nightclub. And then Jordan goes, yeah, but you could, sir, right? You're ancient. If you did it, they'd have to let you in. We thought we could train you up in hip hop club, teach you how to battle, sir. You could go in, win, like beat everyone in the tournament, win the trophy, and we could keep it in the classroom, sir. And they'd be like, yeah, we're all this. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. I'll just get beaten up. Like, it's not gonna work. But they're so obsessed with this idea. They keep going on it at me, like, as I'm chatting to them, going like, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. And I'm like, you really want me to do it? And in the end, I go, all right, I'll do it. And then they're like, sick, legend, sir, legend, you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it, fine. But the only way I'll do this thing, right, is all three of you have to be so good that you don't get kicked out of the school. If all three of you stay after the appeal, because you've turned it around, love to do it. I'm up for it, great. But if one of you gets kicked out, I'm not doing it, right? And they're like, oh, sick, legend, sir, legend, legend. And they're like, cuff me, and then I run down the corridor. And as they run down it, one of them leans back and shouts out, we'll be good, sir, we'll be good, like that. And I'm watching them going, and I'm thinking, never gonna have to do a rap battle. It's never gonna happen. Like, I'm pretty certain that maybe I can save one of them, right? There's one boy who'd been pretty good up until that point. But, I mean, Jordan, he brought a firearm into school and shot someone with it. We were lucky they didn't get in the press. The head has already made it very clear that he is definitely gone. So I'm like, this is fine. I don't have to worry about it. It's cool. But then the next week, I start getting emails from teachers around the school saying that Jordan has started helping people with their homework, right? Like, he doesn't do homework, ever. Like, and also started finding things, like offering to hand out the books in exchange for, like, you know, positive messages being sent to me. Like, he offered to find, like, board rubbers and board pens and stuff. Often the teachers think he might have hidden them in the first place so he could find them, right? But, like, he's doing that. The second week, I'm walking through the corridor, and, like, one of the other English teachers is walking past, and she's carrying a bunch of, no, she's not carrying anything. She's got one of the other boys is carrying her books for her as she's walking past. And I walk past, and he's like leaning like this, carrying the books. And as I walk around him, like, he leans around the books and goes, 2 more weeks, like that, right? The third week, they started an anti-bullying campaign, which was, and it was bad. It was really bad. They called themselves the Befrienders. That was the name of their group, because we have another school nearby that has, like, a legit group called that. And they set up a table in the main hall. They didn't tell any teachers, but they spread the word to everyone in year 7. If you got bullied that day by anyone, if you went and saw the Befrienders at their desk, gave them the name of the student and the tutor group of the student that bullied you, if you gave them those details, they'd find that student the next day and make sure that they never bully you again. It was the mafia. It was really bad. All right. So the fourth week, we ran a whole school assembly where I got them all to deliver it, and it took me a long time to get them to do it. But they, like, chucked around water on everyone that we wasted every day, and a load of the year 7s had to wear PE kit for the rest of the morning. But everyone was going, like, they're trying, right? They're doing better. And so we got to the last day of term, and they had their appeal processes, and every single one of them got to stay, right? Every single one of them, they got, like, a probationary contract for the next term. There's quite a severe, like, report they're on, basically, but they all got to stay. So I'm very, very, very proud of them, but I'm also scared, because I know that my end of the deal is that I've got to sign up for this rap battle tournament. I don't know if anyone's ever seen a rap battle before. I mean, I'd seen 8 Mile at this point, right? It's like people in a nightclub boxing each other with words. Like, you say the meanest things you can to each other. You have to rhyme and use technique, the stuff that I use with poetry, but, like, that's about it. And I'm worried, it's pretty naughty, right? But, like, Jordan, like, and they're down the corridor. Like, I'm tidying the room, ready to go, trying to duck out, and I see them. They're down the corridor, they're with the head, and they're strutting to my classroom, and they're, like, so full of themselves. And as they get to the classroom door, they lean on it, and I can hear them through the gap in the door saying to our head teacher, they're saying stuff like, oh, yeah, sir, our learning's well important now, sir, yeah, we're really excited about doing our science homework, sir, and all this. And one of them actually said, yeah, say hello to your wife for us, sir, as well, because she was waiting outside when the appeals were going on. And so they come in, and the door shuts, and when the door properly shuts, they go ballistic. They start jumping around my classroom going, sir, you're fucking dead, and all this kind of, I'm like, you can't swear. But I'm like, yeah, but sir, you're dead. You said you'd do it. You said you'd do it. You got to do it. So I said, okay, all right. Okay, what do we do? So we sat around the laptop, we went on the website, and we entered my my email address and my details, and we signed me up for the King of the Mic rap battle tournament, right? So I went home that Christmas, and I was scared. Like, I was thinking as well, like, I was like, it seems intimidating, like, it seems scary, but also I was like, I'm not sure if I can get in trouble as a teacher doing this, right? It's a bit naughty, but then Jordan said, like, no one needs to know. He said, being an MC, you can have, like, your own rap name, right? He's like, no one needs to know it's you. It's like being a superhero, sir. Work out what you want to call yourself. So I came up with some potential names. My name is Mark Grist. So Grist, Mr. Grist was my surname. So my first idea for my rap battle name was Gristina Aguilera, but Jordan didn't like it. He wanted me to go with Cristiano Ronaldo, so we said no to that. Then he wanted me to go with Crystal Meth, which I said was totally inappropriate. And then I said Agatha Christie. He didn't know who that was. And so in the end, we kind of agreed on the Count of Monte Cristo. That was my rap battle name. So there's a YouTube video online where this guy is announcing the battlers in the tournament. And he's wearing a baseball cap, and he like pulls out these names, and the first name he pulls out, he goes like, first up in the battle tournament, Omen, big. And I should say at this point, Omen is definitely, at this point in time, the most respected and feared MC in Peterborough. We have a lot of gangs, like I said. These guys don't sound very dangerous, but there's a gang called the Bottom End Soldiers, right? They are, like, my students are very scared of the Bottom End Soldiers. Their main activity they like to do on a Friday night is get a bus over to, like, our side of town, and they go around with, like, metal bars and stuff and try and chase kids from my school around through the streets, right? He's their MC, and he raps about what they get up to. He's like, Omen, big, versus the cat, and he starts laughing, and he can't say my name, and they keep cutting it, and then when he gets it out, he's like, who's that? That's whack. That's the wackest name I've ever heard of in hip-hop, and it goes through the whole thing, and at the end of the video, he finishes it off by going, it's going to be a sick event, but like Count of Monte Cristo, whoever that was, sort yourself out, bruv, and then that's it, right? And so the question starts to spread around Peterborough. Who is this Count of Monte Cristo guy? Which MC has like called themselves it? And it leaks, right? That it's not a local MC. It's the secondary school English teacher from the school that Omen and the Bottom End Soldiers are kind of at war with, right? And so Omen makes his own YouTube video. He puts it up online. It's him in a garden. There's a barbecue there. I don't even know why the barbecue's there, but there's a barbecue in front of him. There's a guy on each side. He's got a baseball cap. They've each got a hoodie up. And he's going like, I'm going to destroy this English teacher. I'm going to wreck him. I'm going to and F him up. And his mate's like, yeah, F him up, brother. All that kind of stuff. And he goes, afterwards, once he's done, we're going to take him outside. We're going to cut him up, bruv. We're going to shank him. And they start talking about how they're going to kneecap me and like break like my fingers and stuff. Like really very graphic stuff. And he finishes it off. I know this doesn't sound scary at all, but he finishes off with this threat. He goes, he's going to be eating his Easter egg through a straw. Like that, which doesn't sound that scary, right? But I'm in my hip-hop club at this point. Jordan doesn't have to stay. He's not a prisoner anymore. But he comes running into the hip-hop club. He's pumped, right? He's like, so we've had our first call-out video. And I go, what do you mean? And he brings it up on the whiteboard. And I watch this video of like a grown man I've never met before in my life, like talking about how much he's going to like break my fingers, my knees, put me in hospital, and all this kind of stuff. And it's got like 2,000 views, right? And so I'm freaking out. And I'm like thinking, I've not told the head. Like I've told Miss Tompkins from science, Mr. Wood from the drama department, that's it, right? And arguably the least reliable students in the school. And I turn back to the boys thinking everyone's going to be looking at me like, this has gone too far, right? And every single one of them is looking at me like, this is the best thing that's ever happened in school. This is amazing. And I'm like, guys, this is bad. We got to stop this. This is out of line. And Jordan's like, nah, sir, you're like, he's like, no, sir, you're the coolest teacher in the school now. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to be cool. I don't want to be cool. He says he's going to hurt me and stuff. And then Jordan goes, nah, you'll be right. He's never been convicted, sir. Just how rappers talk, innit? And I'm like, nah, don't want to do it. And he goes, that's not even the bad bit. And I go, what do you mean? What's the bad bit? And he explains to me, they all explain that Dissident, this nightclub, have this idea that on a Friday or a Saturday night, when people are performing, if they can't rap, like they only sell bottles, right? They don't sell any pint glasses. Then you're allowed to throw your bottle at them and like chuck bottles at them until they leave the stage. It's like a kind of like that place in Blues Brothers, just without the chicken wire, right? And I'm like, what, really? And my students were very adamant that it was a good business. They were like, yeah, you chuck your bottle, you've got to buy another bottle, sir. It's great, like all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, that sounds really bad. Like, they're going to bottle me. And everyone's like, yeah, definitely going to happen. You can't rap, sir. And I was like, well, and so I freaked out, right? At that point, I thought, this is gone. I don't even know how I've got here. Like, I don't even know how this has happened. I'm really scared. I'm out. And as soon as I tell them I'm not doing it, they're so sad and they're so hurt. Like, they're like, you lied to us, sir. And I was like, no, you didn't tell me about the bottling and all this other stuff and all that. And in the end, we have an argument. And I kind of had this bit where I go, why am I even talking to you the way I've been talking to you the last few weeks? I'm a teacher, you're a student. This is weird. No, out, go, out. Kick them all out. And they all kind of like slink out the room. And I go home and I think, God, that was messed up. And as I go home, I just can't stop thinking about it. That's the first time I've ever seen them leave that room not really like fired up, right? And really happy. And I promised, I had promised. And so I came in the next day and I called them in and I was like, all right, like I said, I'll do it. And they're like, sick legend, sir. I'm like, no, don't give me that, just tell me how to rap. I don't know what I'm doing. So the only thing we could come up with to like not get bottled, this was genuinely Jordan's plan. He said, sir, if you go to the nightclub a week before the battle with Omen, jump up on the mic, rap to everyone, they'll respect you then and they won't throw any bottles when you have the battle with Omen. And I was like, they'll just throw bottles then when they, like, I don't see how that's any different, but we didn't know what else to do. So we went to the nightclub, me, Miss Tompkins, Mr. Wood, wearing my suit. It's part of the deal with the boys, I'd rap battle in the suit, and I turned up in the club, it's like 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and the bouncers look at me like, what, you don't wear a suit, right, to Dissident? And I say, like, hoping I could come inside and rap on the open mic, and they're like, nah, mate, jog on, and all this. And in the end, we asked for the manager, he comes out, he's bigger than the bouncers, and he's not happy about it, and he's like, what do you want, mate? And we're like, we're hoping to come and rap and all this, and he's like, nah. And in the end, it gets really stressful, and I find myself going, oh, no, sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. My name is the Count of Monte Cristo. And as soon as I say that, he starts smiling and he goes, you're the Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, you can rap, mate. Come on in, like that. So he like leads me inside. It's really dark and dingy. He leads me upstairs and there's he shows me the dance floor. It's about 300 people. It's like, people are pretty drunk, right? And more than that, the back corner's gurning pretty badly. Music's loud. It's messed up. And there are women there, but it's mostly guys, right, in baseball caps and stuff. And he's like, you sure you want to do this? And I go like, yeah, I do. So he goes up to the guy on the decks. He goes like that. The guy cuts out the music in the middle of a song. The whole nightclub goes like that. He grabs the mic and he shouts out on the microphone, who wants to see an English teacher rapping? Like that, right? And one person in the nightclub went, yeah, right, that's it. So he goes, there you go, mate, do your rap. So I went and I did my rap, and I'm going to rap for you guys to kind of like tie this up, thinking, hey, very badly. I'll perform for you what I performed in the club. Now, what I should make clear, right, I walked up onto the stage, became aware of two things straight away. First thing, no one looked mean or hostile. Everyone just looked like, what is this? Like, as they were kind of staring at me. The second thing I became aware of was every single person had a bottle in their hands, right? So I'm a bit nervous. I'm aware of, like, and also, Jordan said to me, he said, look, because, right, the hip-hop Jordan listened to was guys saying, I'm really tough and I'm really dangerous. And a lot of, like, rap battling is people saying that as well. And my problem was, like, Jordan, I'm not tough. I'm not dangerous. I don't know how I can connect with this. I now understand you can rap about anything, right? But that's what they listen to. And he said, look, sir, hip-hop's about truth. It's about telling your truth, sir. Tell the truth and they'll respect you. And I thought, I think that's what poetry does. So the truth is, I'm not tough and I'm not dangerous. But I figured, like, I am at my most tough and my most dangerous when I'm playing board games and card games, right? I've got, like, a load of them in my classroom. So that's what I rapped about. This is it. Like, I'll rap. You can imagine if you want when the bottles got thrown. But basically, I'll perform it for you word for word as it was. If you can imagine, I'm standing here, people are there, and this was my first line. I started with, this is a safety announcement for all the rappers in the building. Particularly you grimers, you angry little rhymers, using crappy one-liners to hint your life is violence. The truth is at the weekend, you're all youth work providers, badly dressed Power Rangers, generous but spineless. Think you're a threat to me? No way do I buy this. Forget those fake tracks keep on playing, those fake words you keep on saying. You're not dangerous, but I am when playing board games. Because you boys in the hood think you're up to no good, but your skills with the dice are lame. I'll top trump you weak punks, you'll get trashed. Inca plunk, yeah, I'm really good at board games. I'm like an MB innovation, rolling dice, dishing cards without any reservation. When it comes to risk, I tell you this, I am the global nation coming at you through Kamchatka like a cannon infestation, a Stone Age deforestation. I give mousetrap demonstrations, and every game of operation is like a military operation. Used to make the observation, nothing trivial in my pursuit. I'm cracking skulls every evening when I'm out of my suit, playing the odds on Pirates Cove, stealing your booty. I did pretty well on Atmosphere, though that DVD was spooky. I don't care about a loss against you in Call of Duty, because I beat you in Guess Who when I was Sue and you were James. That's because I'm really good at board games. If it's Punch Out, I'll split your lip. If it's poker, I'll take each chip. Buckaroo, I'll make you make him kick. Then lightning quick, you find I've sunk your battleship. I fry bacon when I play past the pigs till you wee all the way home. And my meeple are lethal in every game of Carcassonne. I'm in the zone in Monopoly, just no stopping me. Hopping over pieces of that little silver doggy, step up the orange looking crap property on Mayfair again. Oh, what would you offer me? Because you boys think you're tight, think you're up for a fight, but you clearly ain't prepared for the pain. I'll dice you all up. As long as it ain't a school night, I'm really good at board games. I'm better than good. I'm very good. Trained well since the cradle to dominate any kitchen table. Settlers of Catan, I get more all than Castle Grayskull. Will you get the sheep, which are cheap when your bartering's pretty painful? You want to role play? Well, I dabble, but I'd rather take you out in a game of Scrabble. Having triple word scores, they were lethal short swords, spitting fire onto the board. Second place is your reward, because the boys in the hood think they're up to no good, but heroes live forever. And I don't remember any of your fakey rap names, and I'm probably going to get some funny looks tonight, but I'm still really fucking good at board games. Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So, right, I thought they'd chuck bottles. I really did, but they didn't. They started laughing, and by the end, everyone was cheering, and people around the back started shouting, suit dude, you're the suit. And I know that sounds a bit 90s Bill and Ted, but it's better than getting a bottle, like, to your face. So I was like, yeah, I'm the suit dude, nice to meet you. And they're like cuffing me, going, suit dude sick, yeah, good luck against Omen, he's gonna kill you. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? So I went back to teaching for the following week. I went back down for the battle with Omen. He was really good in the first round. He said that I look like a constipated James Corden, which is quite good. He said that I look like a wrinklier version of Gordon Ramsay, and he rounded it off by also saying that I look like Gollum on steroids. It's a very visual learner, I thought. My first round, I did what I could do, like as a teacher. I pointed out a few of his grammatical errors that he'd made in his first round, like kind of like how he could get a higher grade if it was a speaking and listening assessment, just kind of trying to like help him out. And do you know what? It's something a bit weird about seeing a guy in a suit battle someone whilst trying to help them be more effective at beating them. Like, people were finding it quite funny. And so in the second round, Omen, again, he started swinging, saying all sorts of horrible stuff about me. But people started like moving away from him in the crowd. You could feel it. And towards the end, I think because he was so cocky, he freestyled a lot. Freestyle's pretty hit and miss, but he started saying things like, and look at you in your shoes, you're gonna lose, which wasn't very good. And then at the end, I think because it was going so badly, he just got up in my face and pushed me. I think he went like, and you went to university, when you went to university, that doesn't work with me, bruv, like that, and pushed. And I think he thought he'd push me off the stage because it was quite small. But he's really thin and I'm not at all, right? So I just kind of went like that. But there was something about the push, I don't know, like it made me think of Jordan and the boys in the club, and there was a bit of me that was like, nah, mate. I was like, nah, it's not cool. I don't know. So I turned back and I said, I went to university. Is that the best that you've got? I took your mother to the opera and we abused her private box. Like that, right? And like the whole nightclub just went, oh! like that. And I won the rap battle. It was really weird. Like, thank you. Like, people were going mad in the crowd. People were like, Sutu's won, Sutu's won, Sutu beat Omen, Sutu beat Omen. And Omen and his mates were like really embarrassed. No one stabbed me. They just went home. And like people were like, good luck next week. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I thought I was going to lose. Beating meant I just qualified for the quarterfinals for the competition. So I went back home. I came back out for the quarterfinals, and my opponent in the quarterfinals didn't show up. Apparently, it'd been so embarrassing for Omen to lose a rap battle to an English teacher, like locally, that like the bottom end soldiers had dropped him as their MC, so like no one wanted to battle me. So they just called out Suit Dude a bit, and I stood on the podium, and everyone Suit Dude, and that was it. So then I went back for the semi-finals against a guy called Fireboy. He was really good, but he choked a little bit, like during his second round. It's very hard to win a rap battle if you choke for a bit. So I won that. So I ended up in the grand final of the East of England King of the Mic rap battle tournament. And when I turned up now, the bouncers were all like, oh, you're right, mate. And I was like, hello, coming in. And like, a lot of people there were wearing, at the final, were wearing baseball caps and like, and hoodies. But a lot of people turned up for the final wearing like ties and suit jackets. And like, there was a guy with a top hat. And like, people were holding up signs in the crowd saying, give him a detention and stuff like that. And in the grand final, I was against a guy called Mixie, and I'd met him early on, and he'd helped me a lot through the tournament. And he beat me. I had some good lines, but he beat me, but it was cool. And like, I got married like last year, and he was my best man at my wedding. And I've met some of the best people I have from battling. I came off after it, and I just thought, that was cool, right? As a teacher, you kind of get used to just like having one route of learning. Like, you're supposed to know it all, and then you pass it down and you communicate in a way that I think can be quite patronizing and not very fulfilling for you either. And I thought about it, and I was like, I really enjoyed that. I was learning. I was scared, right? I was terrified. And I thought that would be it, but it wasn't. I'd go to parents' evenings, and I'd have parents come up to me at parents' evenings going, do we call you Mr. Grist or the Count of Monte Cristo and stuff? I had one mum at parents' evening, a year 9 parents' evening, sat down with me, and the first thing she said was, oh, Mr. Grist, you're not going to take me to the opera, are you? Which is really weird. You don't really know what to say. So here's the thing, and I'm just to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for listening. I've really enjoyed telling you about this. But like, I left teaching after eventually. My head teacher gave me a year out to try exploring being a poet, because I love writing. And I was finding it really, really hard. And I bumped into Jordan again. He was redoing his maths GCSE to get a C in it. And I said, go on, put the work in. And he said to me, all right, but you go and do battling again. You like being mean to people, sir. Give it a go. And I did. I went and battled for a league called Don't Flop, with the UK's largest league. And this battle, I had a few, but one of them went viral. It got about 5 odd million views on the internet, which isn't a huge amount compared to a lot of things out there, but it made it the most viewed UK rap battle of all time. And so now I'm working, like Red Bull commissioned me to make a TV series where I go around the world and I meet rap battlers and I learn from them and I try and battle the best battlers I can find. And I love it, right? I get to work with students like Jordan all the time. I work with young offenders in different places. I work with creative agencies, helping think about how they can connect with people, like talking to people about just how to connect and what they're doing. And I never knew this job was possible. And I have to think sometimes, have I owed anyone for it? Right? My parents are great, my teachers were great at school, but everyone was like, English teacher's the only job available if that's what you can do. The people who really kind of helped me find what I really wanted to do in life and helped me work out how to connect and what I like were 3 boys who'd set a fire to a cardboard box outside a train station and were kicking it around, which I just think is pretty cool. Cool. Thank you guys very much for listening. Cheers. Oh, yeah, cool. Thank you. I just want to add as well, Jordan's doing great. He did get his C grade in maths. He's not gone to prison. He's like working, he's doing carpentry. I'm very, very proud of him, and he's doing really, really well. I see him every now and then in Peterborough, and like, he's a bit old now. He's about 22 years old, but I see him in the pub sometimes. He's doing all right. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm very proud of him as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's really inspirational, lots of fun, and I'm really glad so many people could stay around and hear it. It's a really, really lovely, warming story. And I think that the message for marketers is stepping outside your comfort zone, being creative, challenging yourself. There's lots of really good, forgive me if this is totally obvious, but there's lots of really good metaphors I think we can all take from this.
I'd say, since leaving teaching, I have no marketing budget. I've got about 30 million views for my work online for different things. I have no marketing budget, and the only thing that I know is that the stuff that does really well, that I really enjoy putting out, is always stuff that I'm really scared working on it. I just feel like I'm really out of my comfort zone. I remember seeing an interview with David Bowie when he just said, you've got to find that point where you're not treading water and you're nervous. And everything I've produced that's helped me and has been good has always been when I'm in that space. I guess that's the only thing I can say, guys, and I really mean that. Cool.
I think that's a really, really good message. I think, yeah, being outside your comfort zone is a really important thing to do. So, you know, being unconventional, as Rory Sutherland said right at the beginning of the day, everyone expects you to be conventional, be unconventional from time to time, because that's going to shake things up. So, are you going to hang around for a drink? Or you were
100%. I'm going to that gin thing straight away.
Excellent.
So, yeah, please come and say hello. I'd love to chat to anyone. That was lovely.
Thank you very much for coming.
Cool, thank you.
Have a really good day. Thank you to Mark. Please stay for a drink. There are lots of networking. We're here for an hour and a half. We'd love you to come for another B2B marketing event very soon. We really appreciate you coming. Thank you.